And welcome back to the Black Box Think Tank and the beginning of another fun segment. So far we've created solutions to convincing flat earthers that they are wrong. We've identified certain areas to help people quit smoking, and we've also prevented artificial intelligence taking over the world. Now we extend an arm out to our loving fans and our audience who sent through some issues for our think tank ahead of the recording of the episode. Our first issue comes to us from Teresa. I'm in a public toilet and I've just realised that there is no toilet paper. Think tank, help, what do I do?
Teresa, your use of present tense implies that you're still on the public toilet to this day. I'm a little worried for you if that's the case. Have you had anything to eat or drink while you're in there? I think we should send help. But in regards to your question itself, I mean, this is a bit retroactive, but of course, never sit in a public toilet until you've checked that there's toilet paper there. That seems like a no-brainer. I shouldn't be explaining this. It's the year 2020.
So you just think that she should have just, checked what was available when she chose her toilet. Let's say, for example, she's gone into the toilet in a massive rush and it was, do or die. She just needed to get on that toilet and then just get straight to it. And then, oops, there's nothing there. And let's just assume that it's a bit of a job.
Well, there are, of course, situations such as that where it can't be helped. And my first answer to the actual question would be, and this is, of course, time permitting, but if you're there long enough, eventually gravity will run its course. You can obviously assist the process with a little shaking, but depending on the amount of time you've got, like I said, gravity should do the job for you, and it would be a pretty easy self-clean.
Okay, so let's hope she's not having to rush back to work at the time. Sam, do you have any solutions for our audience member who's in quite a sticky predicament?
Socks. You got them, use them. You're in a dire situation, you gotta make tough decisions.
127 hours.
So maybe using some kind of socks or clothing apparel that is on the body.
Anything that you can easily just ditch after the fact and move on with your life without it. Like, just do a scan of your body for the least important item of clothing you're wearing. That's your toilet paper now.
The issue that one might have with that, Sam, is, of course, clothes. They tend to clog a toilet if you flush it with the clothing inside. I should know. I've tried many times. So, depending on where the nearest public bin is, you've then got to do the walk of shame with soiled socks, and that's just thoroughly unpleasant in no matter the circumstances. I think you'll agree.
It's not your problem anymore.
There is the underpants factor as well. We would assume someone's wearing underpants that generally don't get seen. I know that requires some internal air conditioning for the rest of the day, but there is that option there. Could we make an effective use of saliva in any way?
Oh.
I think that's your answer right there.
This is legitimately traumatizing.
What?
I'm sitting here thinking, shall I give you the too much information version of a woman going to the toilet?
I think we can do without for the moment, Bernadette. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Yep. Berman. Are you suggesting what? You spit in your hand and use that?
No. He's suggesting that you lubricate the clothing that you're going to use so it's not so coarse when you go to wipe.
Well, I was actually thinking what Sam was suggesting.
Okay, in that case, you're a filthy human being.
Cuff, you gave him way too much credit.
Okay, so
Why are we using the hand towels?
Well, they're not in the cubicle, Bernadette.
Well, yeah, I'm thinking about one of those, automatic ones that you
Yeah.
You've got 5 minutes.
Here's another alternative. Hand towels aren't, of course, the only source you have to dry your hands and get rid of germs that are still on your hands after the soaping. There are, of course, the wind machines that they have in the toilet, the automatic wind machines, and if the process works to get germs off your hands, surely the same solution will be there for other areas of the body. And I think with effective maneuvering and contortioning, you can get yourself in exactly the right position where those wind machines are extremely effective. And we can't disprove that won't work because I think I'm pretty safe in saying this. No one's ever tried that before.
I mean, yeah, you can bend down and, if it's one of the older ones, sure, that might work. But, you're not going to fit your ass in a Dyson Airblade.
Look, it's a public toilet. I'm not assuming they've got the top-of-the-line wind machines here.
I know this isn't my question, but I would like to step in for a moment to address the utter insanity that has come into play here. First of all, you've said that the air machines get rid of the germs from your hands. No, the soap and water does. The air machines just dry you. So you're not just having to contort your way up to an air machine, you're going to have to contort your ass into a sink, first of all, to get yourself
It's
de-germed.
doable.
You've got 10
No.
fingers.
Okay.
It is doable. But I also want to add, I have previously worked at a McDonald's and done the late night shifts. And members of the jury, I have seen some horrifying things in my time. I have seen full items of clothing. I have seen full items of clothing left behind in the bathrooms at McDonald's. Clothing that people have soiled and just left behind. But not a single McDonald's employee can remember the people who have left their pants and behind leaving the restaurant. I submit to you, it's confidence, Luke. It is sheer confidence to discard your pants in the bathroom and to walk out. And if you keep the stride going, no one is going to question the fact that you're not wearing pants. I say you sacrifice the clothing. You sacrifice the clothing and you leave that public bathroom strutting like you're listening to Staying Alive by the Bee Gees.
And the reason they're strutting is because they sold it. They walked out and they were clean.
And the paparazzi are there taking photos as you get into your car, and the whole thing's.
I don't know what paparazzi are just hanging outside a McDonald's bathroom, just waiting to see what they're going to discover.
Like, I don't know who that guy is, but he doesn't have pants, and he looks really confident about it. Let's get some pics.
Woman's Weekly will want to hear all about this.
And who's also been hearing all about this is our live caller, Kirra, who is with us.
I forgot about that detail.
Right about now, Kirra, you must be feeling a lot of confidence in our level of advice.
Oh, absolutely. I wouldn't trust my question with anybody else.
Naturally.
So, what out of the solutions to our toilet paper dilemma, Kirra, which one do you think really hit the, the nail on the head?
Well, I mean, they were all compelling arguments. But I'd have to go with the confidence one. Like, it makes sense. No one would question you and you'd be fine.
Lovely.
I'm telling you the Dyson Airblades are more powerful than you give them credit for. I'm telling you that would work.
Well, look, even without soap and water, they're at least going to dry the matter involved, so you can just scrape them away.
Exactly, and then it's going to delay the process until you can get to proper cleaning facilities. Surely that's your next stop in the day after you've proceeded to do this.
I sincerely hope so.
Luke, I'm going to need you to be careful about when you put your advertising voice on, because it was traumatizing to hear Dyson Airblades scrape the matter away.
So, Kirra, you have a much more serious problem that you've been going through, and you wanted to ask this wonderful think tank, these problem solvers, what to do. So, Kirra, do you want to just let the think tank know what you need help with?
Yes. Firstly, thank you for having me on. I'm very excited to be here. Now, as you all know, in isolation, we haven't been allowed to hug anybody, and I myself am a chronic hugger, but my housemates that I live with, they aren't huggers at all, so I can't get my hug fix off of them. I was just wondering if the panel could come up with some, ideas or solutions to help me get through this time with no hugging, because, honestly, I feel like I'm slowly going insane here.
I actually feel for you, Kirra, because I have grown-up children, and one of whom doesn't live with me, and so because we're in different households, we're not really supposed to hug each other. And I had Mother's Day, and I had my birthday, which was recently, where I turned into my mid-30s, and I found it very difficult, and particularly because I love hugging my children. So I came up with a few options for you. Some are probably a little bit more easy to implement than others. One is get a pet. Now, pets are lovely. They respond to you unless they're a particularly evil cat, in which case it'll just ignore you and walk off. Don't get one of those, but get a nice dog or a friendly cat. probably not a goldfish, and give them a bit of a hug, and they'll be so happy to hug you back or claw you or cuddle up to you. So that's option A.
Yeah, I like that.
Kirra, do you have any pets?
Actually, I do have a dog, but he's an asshole, so yeah. Maybe I just need to get a whole nother dog.
Probably. Sounding like it.
My first option for you was bubble wrap. I know that doesn't immediately make sense, but I want you to picture your housemates aren't
Yep.
huggers, but I'm sure they're fun people.
Mhm.
And I reckon between the two of you, between you and another housemate, you can get about 1.5 meters of bubble wrap wrapped around your bodies to separate the two of you. Not only will you have the physical pressure of a hug around you, but you can literally throw your bodies at one another without breaking the quarantine.
Wow.
Also, you can pop the bubble wrap, which is always fun.
Yes.
So that's my first one, bubble wrap.
Earlier in my career, I used to work with engineers, and engineers they're an extremely interesting bunch of people. They seem to like to pull things apart and put things together. So I think you should use the engineers in your life, and you get a life-size model of a human, but I suppose if the pet works better for you, you do that. Now, you know how some of those dolls, when you press their hands, they go mama, mama. Instead of that, you press its hands.
Kirra.
I hadn't
Oh,
gone there,
God.
but that's a really good point.
That would be terrifying.
You get it, so you press a button on it and it cuddles you. Like, I really think that, you could make it a very cuddly person, put a nice one of those soft dressing gowns on it, and it would be a very nice cuddly hug.
So, artificial intelligence cuddling.
Yeah, without the intelligence.
I was just about to mention the intelligence bit because I don't think us humans are ready for that.
Obviously, we haven't always been able to get our hugs out our entire life. There have been periods of our lives where we weren't able to hug, and that was during those awkward teen, young adult years where your friends weren't as open and willing to that as maybe you were. You had that affection building up inside you. And what did every lonely, desperate for a hug nerd do during that time? They escaped into the fantasy world of books. Get out your favorite young adult books from when you were growing up, your Harry Potters, put the quilt over you with a torch, and relive those years before you got to have the hugs that you get today. And remember the beauties of what that life was like. Distract yourself from this post-hug world by going back to who you used to be and learning to love that person.
I mean, I've gone through the animal and the life-size human model. Obviously, these two options, unless you find a rescue animal, are a little bit high priced. So I thought I'd better go for the budget option. All you need is a great big squishy pillow. One of those bendy pillows would be really good. And you get one of those permanent markers. You put a little face on it. You make it look however you like, whoever you want to hug. And then you just hug it as long as you want. It'll never turn you down. It'll never knock you back. It'll never say, stop hugging me. It'll never say, I'm always the one who hugs you. Why should you hug me this time? I just have one piece of advice for you. If you do go down this path, you shouldn't change your Facebook relationship status with your pillow.
I'll have to keep that in mind.
I do have an idea for you, Kirra. You're a seasoned hugger, and I think that you'll agree that much like everyone's signature, everyone hugs a little differently.
Absolutely.
As well. They all have little idiosyncrasies, whether they use one arm or two, however many, if they pat, if they rub at the same time, and that can't really be simulated with a pillow. However, I think this is an opportunity to not only solve your problem, but it's a little money-making opportunity, because you may not be familiar, but there is a product, I can't remember the name of it, but it's modeled after a set of lips. And there's two of them, you give one to another person, and as you're kissing into it, the other person's one does the exact same thing that you're doing. So you can simulate a kiss wirelessly over many distances. If you can create the same technology but with a pair of arms instead, and you can put your arms into the device and hug the mannequin that's on the other end. This is just like a rough blueprint of the product. And the other person on the other end, their set of arms does the same thing that you're doing. You can simulate a hug with a very specific person who's also got this product over more than 1.5 meters, however long you need to. So yeah, I mean, the blueprints that you very much base the technology off the kissing thing that already exists. So they've done the hard work for you. All you need is two mannequins and a set of arms, two sets of arms, really.
And some of Bernadette's mechanical friends.
Engineer friends, yes, absolutely. We've got contacts. We can make it happen.
No, look, and mine does touch somewhat on what everyone's been talking about with the pillow and the arms. And I guess it's when you're during the day, when you've got your housemates, there is still some sort of contact with them. It's when you're alone late at night that these insecurities and feelings start to creep in. And you can have your pillow and you can have your arms, but that's really only just one sense. And we experience life through all of our senses, and a hug is experienced through all of our senses as well. Find that special someone who is also missing out on a hug, and find the ways to replicate those senses as well. Don't just hug the pillow with their face on it. Get the heavy blankets so you can feel the weight of their arm hugging you back. Get them to send you a piece of clothing that they've worn so you can smell them as you lie down in bed. Get them on a video chat so you can talk each other to sleep. This is a world where all the rules are changing, and we need to get used to revealing our true selves over video chat, allowing the double chins to be seen, and not having any shame and not judging each other for it. Talk one another to sleep, get the smell in there, get the weight on you, and try to replicate every single part of the hug you can.
Oh, that's beautiful, brother. I think that's a really nice way to end on. So on that one, Kirra, you've had a lot of ideas. Is there anything there that you feel like might help you during isolation?
I am so overwhelmed with all of these responses. I mean, I almost feel like I should just try all of them. I mean, I am very happy to get in contact with Bernadette's engineering friends and try and make a bit of money for myself as well. Like, why not?
And Kirra, I'm sure when isolation is all over and life goes back to normal, our think tank are going to put their hands up to go and give you all those makeup hugs. Or at least one, especially from Sam.
And I appreciate that immensely, and just letting you know that I won't let you go.
Well, thank you so much, Kirra, for coming on. Any final words or thoughts for our panel?
I've had so much fun. Thank you so much for your time and effort into helping me.
Thank you for calling us, Kirra.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.